Hello everyone, welcome to my tutorial on object-oriented programming in Java. In the previous tutorial, we looked into the definition and the features of objects and classes. We came up with different examples. For example, we looked at the class car and we looked at the class patient, and we find different objects out of those classes. Today, if you look at the screen, we can see like there are two patients, patient 1 and patient 2. The patient 1 has a name, age, problem description, and there is a requirement for the calculation, and it gives us the hospital fee. So there are 3 attributes and 1 method. In the patient 2, we also have the same features but with different values. Okay, so we have name, age, problem, but the values are different than that of patient 1, and then we also need the calculation to make or to find out the hospital fee. Now if you read afterwards, it says patients came to register to see a doctor. Patient 1 is an outpatient and will be seen by an ear doctor. So ear doctor is a kind of a doctor, like emergency doctor. And patient 2 needs to treat complicated acute appendicitis. First patient is referred to a doctor, and patient 2 needs to be admitted to a cabin to be seen by a specialist. Okay, so our job or our task is now to find out the objects and classes from it. Okay, so you can see from here that this patient 1 of course is an instance of the patient. I mean, we saw it in our previous tutorial. And then again patient 2 is an instance of this patient class. Okay, so let me find out my paint and let me draw here. So that means we have a patient, okay, patient class, and it has name, age, and problem description, and then it has a method called calculate fee. Okay, so this is the blueprint. Okay, the blueprint of a patient. That means this blueprint has 3 features or 3 attributes or 3 states, and it has 1 method or behavior. Okay, so now according to this definition, we can find 2 instances. One is patient A, and then it has some features. Save. Age equals 25. Problem fever, and calculate fee equals 200. Okay, this is what we basically calculated. And then we have patient B, which has again name, age, and problem, and for this patient as well we need to do a calculate fee method. Okay, so this is an instance. So patient A is an instance of patient, and patient B is an instance of this patient, and both of this patient A and patient B do have common features but different values. Common features but different values. So these common features and different values makes us or gives us 2 different instances. Okay, again this is a blueprint. This is a template of the patient, like what the patient will look like, and this is the actual implementation of the patient, like what the patient A is or what the patient B is. Okay, so from that we obviously, like this is from our previous example as well, this is so obvious that the patient is a class and patient A and patient B is what? Is an instance. Now if we again look into this, let's try to figure out if we can find any other object. Okay, so patient 1 is an outpatient and will be seen by an ear doctor, and patient 2 needs to be admitted to a cabin and needs to be seen by a specialist. So that means there is another class here which is a doctor class. Okay, so now let's take my paint again. So we are going to have again here what? The doctor class. Doctor class, okay, and from that doctor class obviously the doctor will have some name, okay, and some description, whatever, and then there can be an attribute name type. Okay, so what can be that type? The type can be, one is the ear type, the other one is the specialist. Okay, so that means this doctor is a template, and we are going to put our ear doctor or specialist doctor in such a way so that they fit the description of the doctor. Okay, so that means the doctor is a blueprint, the doctor is a specification, and under that specification we are going to have a doctor. Okay, so the doctor is going to have a name and description. Okay, so the whole purpose of objects is to have data. Okay, and these data can be saved in the database later on. So if you ask me like why we're creating instances, because these instances may be or will be saved later on in the database, or may not be, we don't know, but we are going to work with these instances later on. Okay, so let's say our Dr. 1, okay, and Dr. 1 name is A, age is, let's say, 45, and specialization something, okay, we don't know. So we are going to save this information in a database, okay, maybe later. So this object, Dr. 1 object, will be saved in this DB, Dr. 2 will be saved in this DB, like that. So we can discuss about those things later on, but just remember that there is a difference between class and objects. A class is a blueprint, and object are the instances, and the whole purpose of creating the objects and classes is to, or the main purpose is to store the data. And if we look into that purpose, then we can probably find another object from our case, and that is what? That is the cabin, right? Because why we need this to be created as a class or object? Because in a hospital there may be many cabins. Each cabin have different specifications, like the cabin can have 1 bed or 2 bed. The cabin can have different facilities, okay, but all these attributes should be part of this cabin class. Okay, so I think like we should have a very good understanding of the object class, why we are creating, what are the definitions, when we are going to use it. Okay, the next thing that we are going to talk about is creating the instances. That means I have a patient and patient class, and how do I get the patient 1 instance created using Java? That is, or that will be covered in the next tutorial. Till then, thank you.